What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Unhinged review and breakdown. With not much out at the cinemas as of late, I wasn't exactly spoilt for choice when I returned to the cinema this weekend. So I decided to check out Unhinged after posting a Twitter poll. You can check out our socials down below, and do consider subscribing with notifications on if you did enjoy the video. I was even more sold after watching the special Zoom style trailer that Russell Crowe made for the movie, and his press junkets have just been absolutely superb. The man is absolutely crazy, and we love him for it. Unhinged is the story of a man who is, well, unhinged. It does what it says on the tin. It launches us straight into the movie as Crowe's character Tom Cooper has had enough and decides to, murder his ex-wife, as you do, and what I presume to be her new husband or boyfriend, and goes on the run. I liken this movie to a sort of incel men's rights activist version of Falling Down. What would Michael Douglas do if the wife got the house? And I do really implore you to check out that movie, Falling Down. It is an absolute classic. He's on the run, and any little thing could set him off as the action moves to Rachel Hunter. No, not Stacey's mum, but a woman in suburbia dealing with a divorce, teenage kids, and an infantile brother that she has to look after. She's a mess of a human waking up late, and one thing leads to another as her son is on his third tardy, an Americanism I can't stand. And she has to bomb it down the freeway as quickly as possible as everyone is getting up at the same time to do the same thing as she loses a client on the way. Much was actually made at the start of the movie regarding road rage as how the world is getting angrier and angrier. It's a sentiment I would actually agree with, especially when I have to venture into London. However, she picked the wrong person to honk at, as unbeknownst to her, Tom Cooper is sitting right in front of her, and her light is green, and he's just sitting there, probably contemplating, the murder, the quite savage murder he did earlier. And in her desperation, she honks at him as the light is green and then goes around him. Now, in typical fragile masculinity, he chases after her and asks for an apology and said she was rude. Quite clearly, she was not. And it's encounters like this that can turn deadly, with men just not taking no for an answer. Even as a male, I have encountered persistent D-bags like this asking for an apology, and the movie does a great job of making the audience hate Tom. Russell Crowe plays it perfectly, and I worry that this is not actually acting for him and he's actually like this in his real life. He decides to make her day a life of hell, and after her son Kyle is dropped off at school, he chases her around town, steals her phone, runs over someone who tries to help her, and even tricks a divorce lawyer, or her divorce lawyer, into talking to him and tricks him. And it's nice to see Jimmi Simpson, who plays Andy the divorce lawyer, in more things as the McPoyle suffers the wrath of Tom. Himself a victim, Tom at least, of divorce lawyers, he's convinced that everyone around him is making life hard for him, and men really do have the raw deal. In some aspects they do, but the rage inside him is just not okay. He's gone through Rachel's phone and actually sympathises with her soon-to-be ex-husband. He sees the ex as a guy being beaten down by the system like him. He can't see that being a bad father is just a really good reason to divorce and just not being there. He was probably the same and even made worse by his pill popping. He says she is responsible for marriage death as he goes after her brother, and things escalate as he's finally shot but continues on like the pill popping nut job he is, and chases her until a tense standoff in her mother's house that is laid dormant. The kid hides but makes a typical stupid thing of knocking something over, and he is found. And then we get a really interesting kind of showdown and just typical cookie cutter happy ending. Now, the movie as a whole is pretty good. It is a real hidden gem, but it's almost as tense as Uncut Gems. And it's a good modern take on the classic movie Falling Down, which I really recommend you to go and check out. For a movie that is a Sky Cinema production, they're usually atrocious, just like that awful final score, but here the production was surprisingly high, with car chases and quite a lot of violence. And there was a clear gulf in acting between the main characters, with Russell Crowe and the actress playing Rachel, who could have been replaced, unfortunately, by any female actress off of the street. Crowe could have gone full Tom Hardy in Capone here and disappeared up his arse with over-the-top acting, but he toned it down and he found a space between a maniac and somewhat of a sympathetic character. One problem is I take umbrage that he seems to be invincible and some sort of a Michael Myers character, strong and impervious at times, but his unrelenting force of rage that really chases us all inside, it's balanced well. And it really is a kind of movie for the times in Trump's America, and just as the world is just absolutely going to hell in a handbasket. But I really do recommend it. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I really enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie, but it's just an enjoyable watch. And after initially laughing at Russell Crowe's overacting at the start, he works it out well. But overall, I would give it a 3 out of 5, but that's it. There's not much on at the cinema, so maybe go and check that out. It's out in America very soon. It's out in the UK for a few weeks now, but I've just wanted to wait to see if it was safe to go to the cinema. But that's it for this video. Please do drop a like down below, and please do subscribe with notifications on if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.